What's going on, guys? It's Isaac. This is West Coast Fluoride Fishing, and welcome to another video. And today, in this video, we're going to be doing a upgrade on the brand new 2021 Shimano Ultegra. This is the 2500 HG series, and the HG stands for high gear. Now, this is the brand new 2021 model. This is the box that comes in. Let's go ahead and give it an open here. This is the schematic we'll be working with today. If you guys need to reference a part number, you guys can pause here. All the parts that I use for this upgrade will be linked in the description below, as I do with every single one of my upgrade videos. We are going to be doing a 4 ball bearing upgrade today on this Ultegra, and we're going to turn it into a 9 ball bearing reel, as opposed to 5, and then +1, and that would be for your anti-reverse. So these are all the specs. This is actually going to be a little bit of an unboxing here, as this is brand new. Now, I will say a huge shout out to Danny. Danny, thank you so much for letting me use your reel for an upgrade. He is a subscriber, and he actually saw a few of my videos, and we met up and we fished. Now we're good buddies. He came down to Bet's Fishing Center, and he ended up picking one of these up the day it came in, because I told him it came in. So huge shout out to him. Fishing La Viva. I will put his handlebar for Instagram down in the description below. And now to admire this Ultegra. This thing is sweet. So it's got the a lot of the features that the Stradic had. This actually has a lot of those same ones. We can see just by the spool here, it'll tell us all the ones that it has. So it's got the long stroke spool, just like the Stradic. It's got the X Protect, very similar to the Stradic. It's got, again, the long stroke spool, and there it is. Micro module 2 gears in it, which is the same exact gears that were in the Stella. So this is actually almost like a mini Stradic here. Let me grab a Stradic. Alright guys, so this is my Stradic FL 1000 here. So a little bit different as far as the size goes. But if we look, man, these things are very similar. You got the same etching kind of in the spool. Very similar. The non-handle side caps look very similar. This one's obviously used. The drag knobs are very similar. I mean, this could end up being the Stradic killer. The reason why I say that is because this is priced at $149.99. Now again, you can find these at Bet's Fishing Center in Largo, Florida. We do have plenty of them in stock. If you're not local to Largo, we can still ship to you guys. So if you guys want one, let me know. Comment down in the description, or I'm sorry, down in the comment section. While you're already going down there, smash that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications to receive all notifications from my channel. So when I post a brand new video, you won't miss it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on it. What I'm gonna tell you first is what we're gonna be doing. So we got 2 ball bearings here in the handle. We got a lower worm gear bearing down here that we normally do, and we're actually gonna do the upper worm gear bearing, as these 4 are my most important bearing upgrades for the Ultegra. Now, one thing you're going to notice right off the bat, after taking off this, is the spool support system is very different from the Stradic. That is one of the differences. It does not have a bushing for me to swap out to. This is just your standard clicker support here. No bushing, no load axle, bearing, none of that. But we're going to go ahead and get past this and get down to the goods. Oh, just pulling on that pretty solid. We're going to set that all the way up here, because we're not going to touch that for a very long time. So obviously you got your 2 screws here, and I'm actually going to turn on the camera's flashlight so you guys can see a little bit better. Hold on. There we go. Much better, but we're going to go ahead and get into that. So let's grab our multi-tool here. And this kit can be ordered with the link in the description below. It's something very similar to this, because I can't find this exact one. This is the Husky brand. Now, if you have a Lowe's near you, you can actually sometimes find this in the screw and multi-kit department. So just heads up on that. And actually a subscriber told me that, and he completely reminded me that that's where I got mine. I couldn't even remember where I got it, but yes, that is where I got mine. So we got that. Let's go ahead and put these screws all the way up here. So we got this black support here, this rotor retaining cap. Now we have this seal and the rotor retaining nut. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up on this shiny piece and put that right up there. It's a little flashy that Shimano gives us. Now we're gonna go ahead and unscrew this rotor retaining nut. And I am moving up in the world. I finally have an adjustable wrench here, so we're gonna go ahead and stick it in there and make sure to unscrew in the right direction here. Make sure that we're going that way with our loosening, and make sure that we're off of the rotor so we don't mark it up. I just broke that for us. We'll spin that out and we'll place that to the side. Make sure you're pretty careful with this rotor seal, just because when you're going up against the grooves of the shaft here, you don't want to tear that, because that's pretty important. One major thing to notice is that there's no brass insert on the rotor retaining nut, unlike the Stradic FL, so this is one of the key differences there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take off this rotor now. I'll just simply take that off. Now, as you see, unfortunately for us, it does have that same anti-reverse that the Stradic has, which can be a pain in the butt. But if you watched my Vanford video, you would know that we can bypass this entire system and just open up the main body. So that's actually what we're gonna go ahead and do. First things first, I'm gonna back off this handle, because if I go any further into the reel, I won't be able to take this handle off. So make sure you do that. If you've gone past that and your handle's attached, I don't know what to tell you. Make sure you don't do that. So I'm gonna put this all the way up here, because we won't mess with that until the last one. And we're gonna go ahead and pop these screws out. We're gonna lay the screws in the orientation of the reel sitting down this way. And it's a little bit different than what I normally do, but it seems that we will be able to get into the reel and remember where these screws go much better. So we're going to put that one, the bottom on the right side up there. So again, that goes on top, because if we lay it down this way, got the bottom here, top up there. So we're done with that. And we'll go ahead and pop off this side piece here. Again, we're going to orientate it that. That was just a standard Phillips, by the way. Now for this next one, I think we're going to need a T6. Okay, actually we need a T9. I get those numbers mixed up quite a bit. We'll go ahead and pop this guy off. And place that. We'll go way up here at the top, because that's where it goes. And let's get down there. Now for that, we are actually going to use the same one and flip it around, and that's going to be a T5. You can see it's starting to get a little rusty, but it's going to be our T5 here. Pop that off. Throw that way up there, as we don't need it. Along with that, make sure you don't lose those parts. Alright, so we got one right there, so we'll go ahead and unscrew that. And we'll pop that, and that's going to be all the way down there. Again, we're just taking out the screws in the orientation and placing them down, because that's the easiest way. So now we're just going to go ahead and we should be able to just, there we go. This should just slowly wiggle out. Perfect. And that is the inside of the brand new 2021 Ultegra. Sweet. Check out that. Man, this looks very reminiscent of the FL. I'll tell you guys what. Sweet. So we're going to go ahead and set that aside, because we don't need that at all. Now we got all of this to deal with. So obviously we're going to need to get to the worm gear back there, so we're going to go ahead and take our tweezers here and remove this pin holding in the oscillating paw. And again, we did it this way so we can bypass that anti-reverse, because boy, that anti-reverse is a pain. So I'm going to set this down because I got some grease on my pinky that I want to take care of. Alright, so now that I have that done and out of the way with, we'll grab this and just rotate it out of the way. So that's what we're playing with right there, and we're actually trying to get behind this idle gear up there into that bushing. You can see it peeking out from up there. So get out. Okay, looks like that thing's staying there, but we can go ahead and unscrew this now and make sure we're not losing any of these parts, don't forget. And as you can see, that's pretty heavily greased right there, and that's because that's a very common point for access of salt water. So we want to make sure we re-grease all of these parts as we put them back in. So this screw we're actually just going to place down right there. We can actually just go ahead and leave it on the multi-tool, and we'll grab our tweezers and take off that plate. Now, first things we're going to see is this bushing, and that's actually going to be one of them that we're replacing. That's the lower worm gear bushing. That's right here, RD11018. So we're going to keep that out, and we can't unfortunately do it yet, and as all this is sliding out, because we want to do this upper one first. If we were just to replace that and put the shield back on, we wouldn't be able to get to the top one. So we're going to go ahead and slowly take all this off, since it's already wanting to be taken off. And these washers are imperative to keep on your reel, so make sure we're not losing anything when we do this. Okay, so we got the worm gear out. Now you can see our idle gear is falling right out, which actually makes it easy. We'll go ahead and set that down. And now we're left with that one little tiny bearing that we got to get out of there somehow. So let's see. I think we're just going to go ahead and try to use a tiny little tool. Now this tool, as you guys know if you've seen my other videos, especially the Stradic to Stella video, which will pop up right up there. Now this tool it will be used to take out the, multitasking here. I'll go one at a time. So this tool will be used to take off the spool support system on a Stradic FL and a Vanford, as it needs this tiny little 0.9 Torx. Now you can find these with the link in the description as well. I have some linked up there. This thing's just ready to come on out, so let's go ahead and get to it. So we got it out, easy peasy. So we'll set that aside here, and we're gonna start working back now, and if I can knock that off. So now we have an empty hole. Time to put a bearing in there, right? You can quote that from me, Isaac, 2020, West Coast Florida Fishing. Oh shoot, it's 2021, isn't it? Well, that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and take the upper worm gear here. It's gonna be 11578. Now the ball bearing is 2 by 5 by 2.5, and we will open that up and roll that thing out. Set that down. I'm gonna reposition the camera a little bit here. All right, hopefully you guys can see a little bit better now. I didn't realize it was so far up, but we're gonna go ahead and take our brush and Shimano drag grease and re-grease this bearing because it needs to be greased. So I did have a comment asking me why I wasn't using surgical gloves, as the oils in my fingers can contaminate the bearings and the grease and everything else. And I simply told him that this is a fishing reel and I am not surgically removing or adding any parts, so this is just a it's just a fishing reel, and this is ultimately a hobby, so we're not going to be going too crazy in depth. Now that thing's going to be a little difficult to get back in, so we're going to go ahead and use our tool again here. Try to drop it in there. Oh, you know what I didn't realize is that this is magnetic, so that's going to be a little difficult to get. Let's try to use our tweezers here. Oh, oh, oh. I know it's difficult for you guys to see this, and I apologize. I'm just being careful not to flip the reel completely upside down because the anti-reverse is still up here, and we don't want to mess with that. So bear with me. You won't be able to see everything I'm doing. You just got to believe. Oh, I know that movie. Oh. And we almost got it here. Oh, oh, there it goes. Okay. Hopefully you guys saw that pretty well. I wasn't keeping an eye on the viewfinder, but it's in. So we're going to go ahead and start moving on here, moving along. And to what he did say about the reel while using the surgical gloves, I'm going to go ahead and just try to use the tweezers as much as possible. Alright, so now that that's in, we can go ahead and reinstall our worm gear. Again, being very careful not to tip the reel completely upside down because we still don't want to mess with that anti-reverse. I'm actually going to push this bearing back down because it looks like it has popped up a little bit. Okay, so put that in and we will try to finagle this worm gear back in. Boom. Got it in. Perfect money. So we're going to keep it there now, and we're going to set this down so we don't lose any progress here. And now we got to replace, so we just replaced this one. We got to replace this one, the lower worm gear. So we're going to go ahead and grab that now. All right, so the bearing we're going to need is the RD11018. And we'll grab this one. And we will go ahead and grease it up. Alright, now we can go ahead and set it down. As the first thing we need to do is add those shims right back onto the worm gear here. So those are them there, and that's the other side. So we could do, actually, we'll do this. Since we just greased our bearing, I'll just pop that on the bearing. It's not grabbing both of them. Let's see. Here we go. And now I got fat fingers here. Try to work around them. And make sure we got that lined up. And it just popped in. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but there it is. It is in. So now that that's in, we'll go ahead and put our plate back on. Go ahead and, like I said, fat fingers, so that's okay. Now we'll go ahead and grab our screw and get that going here. I got that in there, nice and snug. We'll go ahead and re-grease that here. Just pack it full of grease. Looks good. And we're actually done with the internals of this reel, so we're going to go ahead and start putting stuff back together. So let's put that back on there. And we can throw this back in. There we go. Perfect. She looks pretty. Alright, so we got these two bearings done. I'm going to put that aside, and we're actually just going to go ahead and put this all back together here. And we're just going to spin this here. And the reason being is because I want to be able to have a clear shot to that bearing back there. Oh, we're just going to spin, spin, spin. Spin. Alright, that looks like we got plenty of clearance, so let's go ahead and put that back together. Boom. Hope my knuckle wasn't in the way too bad. And super easy, we're just going to go ahead and put the screws back in how we got them out. So we'll go ahead and grab this bottom one down here. And I'll put it down. Grab our multi-tool and screw it back in. Perfect. Go ahead now and get our top screw and lay that in, and we're going to need a change. While I'm screwing these in, if you guys have been here through half of the video, I still don't understand why you guys haven't subscribed. I still have like 88% of you guys not subscribed to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching this video and you've seen some of my other videos, I still don't understand why you're waiting. Go ahead and go down there and hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps me out. One of my goals for 2021 is to hit 5,000 subscribers. I know we can do it. I know we can do it. I mean, we're still gaining around 200 subscribers every single month, which is huge. Thank you guys for all the support. And I really didn't think we'd even get this far. So the fact that we've gotten this far just says a lot. I'm really glad to have you guys on my team, on my side, and just can't wait to have the rest of you there, because you guys are already just sitting here lurking, not doing nothing, just watching it, not participating. You know, there are giveaways. I'm just saying, and there's more coming too. I mean, I'm just letting you know. And as I'm blabbering, we're just putting all this back together as we normally would. And try to stick that screw back in there. Cool. We're gonna need another change here, so we'll drop that out. The one-handed is real. And boom. Touchdown. Alright, so we got that done. That's it. We are done with the body of this reel, so let's go ahead and put it all the way back together so that it's just makes life easy. So we're gonna need the rotor now. And we'll just eyeball everything. This should just sit right on top here. Just don't be forceful. If anything isn't going on 100%, number one, figure out why. Number two, just play easy, play nice. Makes everyone's day better. So that is in there. So we're gonna go ahead and just put our rotor retaining nut and seal back on. And again, we're gonna see it unscrews that way, so we're gonna screw it that way. Pretty simple stuff. Every handyman can figure this out. Just make sure we're not cross-threaded here, because that is huge. And we most definitely are. So unscrew that. There we go. Perfect. Set that down. Grab our nifty adjustable. This makes life so much easier, guys. Just saying. Alright. And we'll just tighten that up. And I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but check this out. Ready? Whoa. Dang. Sounds good. I don't know. Might just be my ears, but that sounds pretty good. Let's see if this fits completely off. And not so much. So we can probably... I don't want to over tighten it, so we're actually going to loosen it just a tad. Just a little bit. That should be good there. Pop that on. Now we're too loose. And now we're perfect. So we'll put that down. Oh, I guess first things first before we do that, I'm sorry. Pop that off. Put the fancy bits back on. There we go. And now put that on. Perfect. Drop these little screws in here. Alright, and tighten that. Tighten that. Tighten that, and we're good. Let's put our clicker assembly back on. Oh. I know I'm in the camera, but that's that. That's it. That is done. So we can just actually go ahead and completely set this reel aside and get on to the really easy one. That's going to be these handle bearings. So let's go ahead and we'll clean off that bit here. You're just going to need a pick to pop this little plastic piece off. You don't want to break it. You're just going easy. Just like that. You can see that they do have some grease on them, so just be mindful of that. And we got to get to that right there. So we're going to go ahead and take our screwdriver here and screw that out. That's done. Go ahead and just pull this whole assembly off. Check it out. Alright. We're going to take that bearing off, set it down, make sure there's no washers on it, which there isn't. And you can check out this side. It's got your screw and your bushing. I'm going to take our bushing and bearing extractor here, and you can see it came with a little shim, which is perfect. We're going to need that. Don't lose it. Set that down, and that is our other bushing. So we have RD13269, and we're going to need 2 of them. So this first one here is going to go right on down. I guess first, before we do that, we'll grease them up. Good, nice and greasy. And we'll slide it on down. And we will take our second bearing here. Good. And we'll grab that shim. Alright, so let's go ahead and go backwards with it. So slide that on there. And we're just gonna boop. Perfect. Now these are just little tiny paint brushes basically. They're used for rod building and to lay on the epoxy on the build. So if you guys wanted to find them, could go to any of your rod building stores in your area and pick them up. And you can get a whole pack for like $5. Or you can just call Betts, ask for Isaac, and say you want some, and we can ship them to you. Alright, so to pop down that bearing on top of that shaft, we're going to take this out and just use the stem of this. And we should be able to just, obviously not screw, but we're just pushing down, and now it's set. And that's it. We're going to go ahead and put this back in. And pop that. Whoop. A little bit of grease. Pop that back in. Screw it in there. That is it. Oh yeah, that's much freer now, actually. That's a big difference. Wow. Alright, so we're going to pop that down. And we're done. Those are our, whoops, as I knock into the camera. Those are our 4 bearings. 2 in the handle, 2 on the worm gear, and we can go ahead and reassemble our reel here. Again, big shout out to D. Again, I just wanted to thank him for allowing me this opportunity to upgrade his reel for him. I know he wanted it done, and he wanted to be featured in a video. That is not the only video he will be featured in, as he has given me a Battle 2 that he actually found in the water, and he wants me to completely rebuild it, and I'm going to show all that on camera for you guys. We're going to just pop this spool back on, and that is it. We are done with this upgrade. Oh, wait. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll be cleaning up here in the background, and again, I want to say thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate all the support in 2020 that I had. We hit my goal of 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which was huge. We are having big goals here for the 2021 year for my YouTube channel. All right, again, we want to hit 5,000 subscribers this year, and I know we can do it. There's not a doubt in my mind. My goal for this year is to have many more videos done. I want to hit at least 75 videos in the entire channel, so I know we can hit that. I got plenty of video ideas coming. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're still here, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below if you enjoyed this video. If you have any gripes or complaints, just let me know down there, as I'm always available to criticism. I really appreciate all of it, as it helps me become a better YouTuber and a better reel service mechanic. So I just want to say thank you guys. Thanks for watching. I guess now to the outro. Tight lines.